Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Derek and I got another fun and exciting video for you guys today, and one that I swear you willed into existence. That's because every single time I talk about PlayStation 1 static recomps, I ask for you to go into the comments and tell me if you could snap your fingers and make one game show up as a perfect static recomp, what would it be? And I would say in an unofficial poll of third place, that would be Einhander from Square. It's an absolutely amazing shmup from the developer that was way more known for making RPG games. They decided we're going to make a shmup, and they absolutely nailed the brief. And as of today, maybe a few days later, because I do have to schedule these things, there is an Einhander static recomp out for PlayStation 1, and it's absolutely nailing the brief for what a static recomp needs to be. Before getting much further involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And honestly, I absolutely love shmups. If you watch my channel, you know that. And this one definitely is special because it basically plays around with both being a 2D and a 3D shmup with a lot of fun and different camera angles. And I would say the vibes on this one are impeccable. Square's art team absolutely nailed it when it came to just making a futuristic shmup that felt both similar and completely different to what we'd played beforehand. And honestly, getting this as a static recomp, 10 out of 10 fun as well. Now obviously we're going to go through the graphics and go through the audio to make sure that everything is working correctly, but the number one thing I like to take a look at when I'm playing a shmup recomp is whether or not the controls are correct and whether or not there's any latency whatsoever in the inputs, because these games absolutely require you to be able to move whenever you need to, and you want absolutely zero latency in any of the inputs. And the good news is I was able to play Einhander exactly how I wanted to, and I'm not even cutting the first stage here. You will see I go from start to finish on one life without taking a death, and it's been a couple years, maybe 3 or 4, since I actually sat down and beat Einhander. But the entire point of a shmup is any latency in the controls is going to affect your gameplay, and because these games are so punishing, you're not going to have fun if you have to struggle with actually getting your inputs in, because Einhander is one of those games. When you die, you're going to be pushed back, you're going to lose all your weapons and power-ups, and you're basically going to have to struggle through the segment that you're currently in. Honestly, in some instances, I feel like late game, it's easier just to completely start the game over and try again than to try to fight through an area in which you're going to struggle. But the number one thing, if you haven't noticed already, is you're getting internal running resolution bumps, you're getting perspective correct polygons, you're not getting any wobble in any of the textures, you're not really seeing any seams. I would say as far as the enhancements on this one are concerned, absolutely 10 out of 10 appearance and presentation, and I really do love that. And as far as everyone who cares and everyone who doesn't care, I always give you guys the same information. The repo lists only one human contributor, and there is no evidence of any Johnny 5 or LLM usage for this recomp. So if you cared, now you know, and if you don't care, you didn't care in the first place. But just look at the footage here, look at the gameplay, you can see all the visual enhancements, all the fluidity in the motion. I really struggle to find anything whatsoever to point at on the Einhander recomp to say it could be improved or anything else could be buttoned up. Now again, I'm sure there's something here that I am just missing, because I only have one set of eyes and one set of ears, where you guys have tens of thousands combined between you guys when you watch them. So if there's anything here that you don't like the look of, if anything sounds bad in the upcoming soundtrack sample, do leave me a comment down below, because I depend on you guys to tell me what it is you see as well. So as you go into the first boss here, you're going to see that kind of fun perspective change where it goes over almost like a 45-degree angle camera. And in Einhander, you have not one but 2 different weapons that you can grab from your opponents. There's different varieties, but they're going to be both on a different separate button, so you can basically combine or chain your shots together or save some of the more powerful shots for stuff like bosses, because you'll see here I have one gun that's going down at a 45-degree angle and another gun that's shooting straight, and if you definitely move your ship around up and down, you can kind of angle that gun as well. So if you get it in just the right position, you can do double damage. You'll see there is an ammo counter on every single upgraded gun. And if you've never played Einhander before, I can't stress enough, this one's definitely a hidden gem. I don't really hear all that many people mention it, but the people that know absolutely do know, and I would say one of the better 3D shmups on the PlayStation 1. And throughout this entire boss battle, again, the graphics are holding up, the frame rate is intact, all of the enhancements are working correctly, I have no latency in the controls, and again, really struggling to point to anything to say. I would love to see it improved in a new version, and this is only version 0.1, so I'm sure the developer has some more plans for it. Currently it is still 4x3, there isn't 16x9, I would love to see that come in, but I'm sure it's very difficult with the logic of the game. Let's do the first soundtrack sample and I'll be right back. I mean, it's been a minute since I played Einhander, but that sounds accurate to me, but you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think. And if you take a look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see that we have one of the 2 item slots loaded up. You will see enemies within the game that are going to be holding onto different weapons, and if you destroy them, that weapon will then float in the air and you'll be able to pick it up. But the nice thing is about the Einhander Recomp is it comes with a full launcher. It'll tell you when you have the correct overall disk image from your legally owned copy of Einhander. You can use keyboard, you can use a controller, and if you go into settings, you're able to change around super sampling, aspect ratio, full screen, everything else like that you could possibly want. Although widescreen was not functioning, it was just 4:3 for me unless I completely missed something. And you'll see there is perspective textures as well, but if we go back and go into mods, you're going to see that it actually has the ability to do that in a modification as well. You'll get geometry plus textures, and that is what I'm using for the capture. But the nice thing is, if you can double click an executable and give it one file, the Q file from Einhander, you're going to be able to load up and make this thing work very easily. The only thing that of course is not going to be improved, and this is going to be something that you're going to have to deal with for basically every PlayStation 1 static recomp out there, is FMV movie sequences are still going to be 240p, at least as their internal running resolution. Of course they're going to be macro block because they compress the ever-loving hell out of them to get them onto a PlayStation 1 disc and work within conjunction of the hardware. So something like this, you can maybe take the actual disc image apart, take this FMV, put it into something like DaVinci Resolve, and try to upscale it to 1080p or beyond, but it really is diminishing returns. And unlike N64 static recomps and even PC source ports from the decomp projects, because there really isn't any FMV in those games minus Resident Evil 2, it's just something that you don't have to deal with on the N64 side of things. When we talk about PlayStation 1 static recomps and hopefully soon Sega Saturn recomps, FMV with macro blocking and being low resolution is just something you're always going to have to deal with. There really isn't much changing that. As we jump back into Einhander here, I can't tell you if this game is finishable or not, although I did talk to someone else who tested it and they told me it was. They beat the game because it would probably take me a good 4 to 5 hours to actually see the credits scroll on this one. And that is just because, again, when you take a death, you're going to get pushed back to the beginning of the area or the checkpoint, and you're going to lose all of your weapons. And as much as I would love to sit here all day and play Einhander, I just have a bunch of other stuff going on, so of course I can't dedicate that much time. Although I will give you a tip: if you see a power-up weapon on an enemy, make sure you don't shoot that weapon too many times or it will destroy the weapon and you will not be able to collect it. There is a ton of strategy in Einhander. You definitely have to learn the game, and that is a lot of the fun. But as far, again, as my experience here with the actual static recomp, there is nothing I can say that I would try to improve again, and that really is impressive off a first draft when there really isn't anything to point to and say, well, yes, it's working great, but I wish it would do this. All of the graphics, all of the performance improvements, all of the graphical improvements are working. No latency in the controls, and again, amazing sound, which leads us into the second portion of the same song for the second soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back with more. So when I go down my completely imaginary recomp checklist to make sure it's something that I would want to play, we do the following. Is there any latency in the controls that would affect your gameplay, or can you just play it exactly how you want? No latency, we're good to go there. Are the visuals working? Yes. Are they enhanced? Absolutely. They look absolutely better than anything you'll get on PlayStation 1 right here. Is the sound correct, and does everything just basically feel like you're enjoying the game that you know, love, and remember from the PlayStation 1? 10 out of 10 yes. And if you've never played Einhander before, I can't stress enough, it is an amazing game, and this is an amazing way to play it. And yes, I know DuckStation Exists does a great job as well. That's not really the point here. I'd love to see some Einhander mods in the future, and definitely some effective widescreen. But short of that, if you want to play this one today, the link is in the GitHub description below. Incredibly easy to set up, and you owe it to yourself to check it out, especially if you've never played Einhander before. But short of that, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. But I'm going to try to beat the game over the weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. And by the way, it's Friday when I record this. Bye-bye.